Microsoft Responsible AI Approach. This is a public document, if you may, so you are able to go to the Microsoft, AI website and adapt the responsible AI approach that we advocate to also suit your own organizations. And I was talking about how, ensuring that AI cannot be biased. That's the first. You cannot build AI, that favors a particular demographic. Remember, some news that broke out a couple of years ago when a company, big company, was trying to automate their recruitment process, and they trained, their AI models to mimic, their recruitment process. And at the end of the day, what happened was that women applicants were actually being sidelined for certain jobs. Of course, this was it wasn't intentional, but then that was, one of the the pitfalls of that organization that the AI model actually, exposed. Again, talking about transparency. So, whatever algorithms that are being built leveraging the AI, must be reliable. I mean, if someone is building a solution and then leaves the organization, whoever it is that is coming next, because again, this is the reality that we all have to face. People come and then they go out for better opportunities and offers, and they have to leave. So imagine a situation where one person is building a solution and then they leave, and the technology or the stack sits basically on the laptop of this one individual, so no other person can use it. Also making sure that there are trainings, continuous. I talked about continuous skilling and upskilling, happens within the organization. So these are, the principles and standards, and we'll go into some of them as we go on. Like every other innovation that happens, a lot of people are now beginning to understand the effect of AI on the world's resources, right? We all know that building capabilities for AI requires large machines with large compute, and we need to ensure that we are leaving the world better than how we met it. So this includes, ensuring that, we are using renewable materials, we are reducing our carbon footprint, just because we are building AI technology does not necessarily mean that, we should not be mindful of our society. So these are, again, some of the important things that we need to take. And, all of these are, you can, if you go to the adoption.microsoft.com portal, you will see. So here, there are tons of materials for you to look at and learn around how to build an AI company. You actually have access to all of the resources, presentations, videos, demos, implementation plans that you can adapt for your organization. And I enjoin you to, bookmark that page, because there's actually a lot of gem that you will find there. So the importance of training and skilling cannot be overemphasized in this case. I talked about how or why you need to continue to scale. Microsoft also provides all of the learning and training materials. Certification is, it's something that really is important in today's day and age. So you can go online, and there's several, free exams that you can take, some paid. Do the exams, take your certifications, put your badge, put it on your LinkedIn, open yourself up to more opportunities. Or if you are a business owner, encourage your employees to be able to reskill and upskill themselves, so that, again, you're sure that you're continuing to build a talent for the future. So, let's start to go, a little, deeper into the technology conversation. How really should we be looking at building, an AI organization? I mean, the first thing is, these are the three buckets, that we will be looking at today: transforming your business. And we started to talk about how AI has come and is helping to transform businesses, deployment capabilities, what are the skills and tools or the learnings that you require, and accelerating career opportunity as an individual seeking more opportunities for yourself, or as a business owner who's trying to build a resilient organization. So, now drilling further down, the areas that we want to look at are, in terms of employee experiences, in terms of building a stronger customer base, in terms of repositioning your business for the future, and also in terms of advancements, transformation, innovation, and other things like that. So, as a business owner, if you're one here listening, so these are the 5 drivers, of AI basically, and you may want to on your own answer these questions to determine where you are on that transformation journey. So you don't have to, answer right now, but I'm sure that you have people that are working on this. You may be able to answer yes to some. I mean, if your answers are no all round, then you already know that there's a lot of work for you to do. The problem, as we may all have known, or as we may all already know, with technologies, our technology, really is not, when projects fail, technology really isn't always the problem. It is mostly around stakeholder management, communication, around interaction, setting the proper framework. So, as we start to build new tech, the important things is, it starts with leadership. Ensuring that we are building a foundation where learning is encouraged, people are more open to change, people are able to learn new technical skills and what have you. So these are some of the things that will generally help you as an organization to continue to retain the best talent. And as an employee or an individual who is looking for more opportunities, these are some of the areas where you now start to really differentiate yourself. And Microsoft does these really well. I mentioned earlier, if you go to the adoption.microsoft.com website, you will see, different. So they are basically implementation guidelines, right? So a roundabout way of saying this is how we think you should do it. And, so you can go and adapt it to your own organization. Several organizations today are, looking at a multi-cloud or multi-AI framework, and that's fine. We are totally okay with that. So we know that you will sometimes need, different technologies, different cloud providers to help you with all your need. But then the questions that you must really start to ask your vendors or your technology providers is, do they provide you the resources, the guidelines to help you implement those technologies? Do they help you actually learn and build skills so that you can start to use the technologies on your own? Are they able to provide continuous skilling so that you not only can you use, but you can also address quick problems without having to run to, an engineer or a vendor to help you to address, small cases. And this is something that Microsoft does really well. It's a differentiating factor for Microsoft. So again, these are some of the questions that you must really ask your cloud or AI providers, and about the AI technologies that you use, whether you're able to build more skills on them. And this is the foundational baseline for all AI technologies, and we're starting with Microsoft. I talked earlier about how we are integrating AI into several of our core business applications, and it starts with having Copilot, which is what the Microsoft generative AI capability really is about. It starts with building all of those capabilities around, and you can go today, starts from your web, go to your copilot.microsoft.com and start and see, what the capabilities are. Who in this room has used the new Microsoft Teams? The new Microsoft Teams. Okay. All right. So I also implore you to do all of that and see the new capabilities that are present within the Microsoft Teams to be able to see, what's new and how you can, build more capabilities and then more understanding around your work, how you can, leverage the intelligence that AI provides to be able to gain access into your productivity environment, understanding newer ways to do old tasks. And, again, starting from your Microsoft Copilot on web really is the way to understand it, because AI isn't necessarily a new technology, but with the advancements that have happened, everybody has now realized that, this is not just a fad, right? But at the same time, this is an individual experience that we all must go through. Each person has to go through their own aha moments, basically. Because, personally, for me, before I really started to explore, Copilot or generative AI in general, it was just something that I read about, and I thought I really knew what the technology was. But I personally had my own aha moments when I found out that, I could summarize my top emails. And if you know me, I'm really terrible at catching up with my emails. If you send me an email, maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. But then knowing that I could, actually go, and then summarize what are the important emails that I've received, because God forbid that I, miss any important email from my boss. So I really, at the start of every day, want to really understand what are my key priorities. What are the most important things that happened over the last few hours, and what are the things that I really should quickly, get a handle of as I go on into the day. So that was my own personal moment for understanding how, this new AI could actually, make me more productive in my job. And for another person, it would be different. You're probably a student who is, struggling to meet deadline of turning in your assignment or your project, and you find out that you can suddenly use this new AI tool to write your first draft of your assignment or paper or whatever the case is. You're, probably, an employee within a financial organization who, is struggling to, gain insights from paper documents. And you're finding out that, you can actually use this new AI tool to do things like knowledge mining, knowledge search, to find out specific information within the paper documents. For another person, it could also be that you are struggling to answer specific questions. You're probably working in as a customer service officer, and you find out that there's a large, repository of information, and you want to quickly, go through it, and you don't have all of the time. You can quickly just search through, different kinds of documents to find what the best answer to the customer is. So again, you will come to that realization, and for everybody it's the same. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is there are several ways that we will come to, understand the impact that, AI technology really has, not just for an individual, but also for an organization trying to build new products, new capabilities, or trying to increase bottom line. So, the first thing here, I talked briefly about the Microsoft Copilot. I have a couple of videos that I'll show as we go on, just for you to see, in practice, kind of the kind of technologies that we're talking about here. All right, so the audio is not coming up, but then, so here, so this is, when I was asking about the new, can you help me check the audio, please? We was talking about the new Microsoft Teams. So, Copilot now helps you to not just record meetings. Okay, so Copilot is helping you to not just record meetings, but also gain insights from the transcripts of those meetings. So you can even propose next actions based on the conversations that are happening within those meetings. Even goes further to show you, if you want to send a follow-up email, it can suggest you, based on this meeting, these were the things that were discussed. These are the suggested next steps based on the outcome of the meeting, and then writes you an initial draft. And it's so the fantastic thing that it really does is just help you get going, because a lot of the questions that people are probably thinking of today, but maybe they're not necessarily asking. Or, a lot have even asked, me personally, is nobody wants to be in a situation where they are no longer able to do what they loved and then were trained to do, because suddenly this new AI has now taken all of their relevance away. And, that really is what the Copilot technology from within Microsoft is helping you achieve, because it really just helps you get started. At the end of the day, you still have the control to make the decisions around, what kind of output are you looking at. And that really is why it is referred to as co-pilots rather than, say, an autopilot. So next please. This is now. Next slide. Thank you. So, again, okay, the audio is still not working. Again, from your, Microsoft, I talked about, the Copilot web. You are able to, go there and then understand, initiate tasks. Whether it's, an employee self-service, an IT self-service, you can integrate it with your internally child tools so that, people can get information that really matters to them, whether they want to request, leave, they want to gain access to certain information, read, the employee handbook, and then maybe generally just make a procurement. You're also able to do the simple tasks like that without necessarily implementing, large IT solutions. And Okay, I would have loved for us to hear the audio of this one, but then let's just go on. Again in the new Microsoft Teams, like is there anybody here that works with teams, different teams that are based in different country where people speak different languages? Okay, all right. Fantastic. So, what the new Microsoft Teams helps you also do is real-time interpretation. So imagine, when you go to the UN, I don't know if any of you has been to any of those UN General Assembly sessions or maybe seen videos of it, when, somebody is speaking and in real time they're interpreting. So, Teams also help you do that so that you are only hearing in the language, of course, that you understand, that you're more comfortably hearing, independent of what language the original speaker is. Next slide, please. Okay. All right, so moving on. So in addition to, the native Microsoft's technologies and the tools that we have, you are also able to build your own AI solutions, right? And then shout out to Microsoft's, Copilot Studio and also the Azure, AI Studio that help you actually build your own copilots, basically. So everything that I've been talking about are, functions that come out of the box, of Microsoft applications. But then you can also do yours to build your own. So think of these as your own ChatGPT, but for your own data, where, the information that is really got is not, information that is available to the public on the World Wide Web, but rather, specific to your internal organization. And, the future of coding is low code or no code. So you're able to, build your own AI applications without, having an understanding of any programming. Or at best, you only need a limited understanding. And that's what, the Microsoft Copilot Studio really helps you achieve in this case. Next. Next slide, please. All right, so the thing that I have seen over the last few years, especially when it comes to a new technology, is people really just want to come and then they have this new shiny toy and they are looking for what problem can I solve with this. But then what, as an organization, what we really, should be looking at is, what are my business objectives? What are my values? What are, the metrics that I want to be measured by? And how can I solve them, with, this technology? And again, that is how, we approach it. And as you are looking to build an AI-powered organization, that really is how, we recommend that you start to look at it. Because, there are probably, several departments within your organization, and you really want to know, for marketing, for example, what are the KPIs that you have set for that department? For HR or legal, what are the objectives for each of those departments, and how does technology help you to address them? Next slide, please. And then, security, again, cannot be understated. What you may not know is that, for every website, every tool that, you're using out there, and, you are entering your data, what you may not know is that once you enter the data, you no longer have control of it. And if, you are not like me, and you actually take time to read the terms and conditions of any, software. I'm guessing most people are like me anyway, but, in case you are not and you want to actually read them, you will find that, you're actually signing off your rights to those data as you go on. So if you now want to build, capabilities and technologies within your organization, that really is the most important thing for you. Ensuring that your data does not get into the hands of bad actors who, want to use it for their own nefarious activities. Also want to ensure that beyond that, even people within your organization who should not have access to that data don't. That in finance, for example, does not necessarily mean that I should be able to have access to HR data, and despite the fact that we all work in the same organization. So, ensuring that security is a core foundation of whatever it is that you are building is how to continue to build a resilient organization that is powered by AI. Next, please. Next slide. And, so just going further into how you can, understand how each of the departments, what are the KPIs, what are the objectives, how you can start to think of what are the use cases, the capabilities that I really want to build within my organization, rather than just a blanket approach where we are looking at, just this tool and then there really isn't anything to do with it. And then, having a governance team where, you are able to evaluate the risks, what are the likely benefits, what are the costs, what are the associated risks of each new deployment, each use case, and a team of cross-functional people will help you achieve this because they actually critically evaluate what the opportunities and the risk, for all of these things are. And, building your own co-pilot or your own AI systems isn't just about building chatbots because, people make the mistake today of thinking that, when we are saying co-pilot, we are talking about chatbots. It goes beyond all of that. It's from natural language processing to be able to interact with your customers, to be able to build, interactions and knowledge mining and search through documents and everything beyond just building chatbots. So, what are the next step as we start to end the conversation today? What are the next step for you? Scaling up, I've talked about that, said it over and over again. As an organization, encourage skilling, try or start to incentivize, people and to build new skills. You don't have to start from scratch. A lot of people have done what you are doing before. I mentioned, and please, remember it or bookmark it, adoption.microsoft.com, where you will see a lot of those collaterals that help you actually get started. So you don't have to, build anything, newly again. So again, skilling, engagements, getting new capabilities, all starts with, the leadership, leading organizations. What they really do different is they continually stay on top of new technology. And, these are really my recommendations for you to where you can really start if you are, I'm a business owner or an employee or maybe an enthusiast who really just wants to get started on AI and you want to understand, a lot more around Microsoft Copilot and what it can do for you. So these are the places that I recommend that you start from. These are just, sample prompts and what you can do with it from your Teams, your Outlook, your Word, PowerPoint, so you can build, I talked about, writing your own articles or paper on web, you can build PowerPoint presentations without having to know how to build PowerPoint. You can reply emails, and it gives you suggestions on how, to reply those emails. So, my final word for now is that, there is, like every technology, there is a lot of unknowns, right? The important thing for us here is, how well do we understand our business? What are the problems that we are trying to solve here? What are the solutions that we expect? How will this new technology help me address those problems? And, what are the costs, the risk? And only then will you, actually be able to determine what the, overall value realized to your organization is. Thank you very much. And then that is the end of my presentation. Right now, we will take questions. Okay. Lady, yeah, we have. Okay, we'll start from her. Yes, please.
You spoke a lot about how to incorporate AI in your business. I'm a business owner, but I'm trying to look for ways to incorporate it more. Now, I'm more interested in the HR part. You spoke briefly about that. Is it possible for you to elucidate how you could use Microsoft AI in terms of HR department? Thank you.
All right. Thanks. So, HR is one of the most impacted, departments, when it comes to new tech. Because, again, and I mentioned this earlier, one of the questions that people will generally want to come and ask is, this new technology, I hope it's not going to take my job away. I really don't understand. Like, am I going to have a job? Blah, 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 So, as an HR professional, one of the things that you really want to start to preach is how can people leverage this new technology to advance their job functions? How can they be more productive? An example is, what I showed earlier around, making simple requests like, do they want to request for leave? Do they want to, make a procurement, like order a new laptop or whatever? There are several things. Do they want to, summarize the employee handbook? Because most of us got employee handbook when we started our new jobs, but then we never, I don't recall ever reading mine. Maybe there are people like me here. So most people are like that also. So there are several things. I was involved in a project within Microsoft. It's a small team of people where we build an internal tool that helps people move from one department to another within the organization. Say, for example, you are in customer service, but then your interest really is in software development. So as a customer service rep, what skills do I have today? What skills do I need to become a software developer? And the HR application that we worked on evaluates you based on skills today and the skills that you need, and builds a learning roadmap. And then it checks with you periodically to help you see how well are you meeting the goals of that new place that you really want to go. So these are some of the solutions that we try to solve. And I don't know, specifically what, solutions you're trying to solve internally, but then there are several ways that you can think about it. I hope I've been able to provide, some thoughts around how, you should really start to think of your HR department or HR practice, just by building new capabilities within AI. So, okay. All right, let's go. Good afternoon.
Okay, so I'm in construction, we're in infrastructure. We run a company called Stratford Hill. Now, would you recommend, with your experience, engaging an head of technology or a focal point for AI implementation, or would you rather pivot someone within the system to sort of help with implementation of AI in the organization?
It depends. It depends. Again, it goes back to what are the skills that you have and what are the skills that you need. You'll find there are some people within the organization. I mean, it is possible that maybe, an engineer is only an engineer within when I say an engineer, I mean like a building engineer, is only an engineer within your organization because, that was the first, job that they found. It is possible that in their own time, their passion really is in software development, but then they're not doing that during the day, only at night. So, again, I say it depends because you need to really understand what you have within before you can decide to make that decision. And another thing, just expanding on that topic is, just as you're thinking of who within my organization can help lead this project, or do I need somebody, you're also making a decision whether you want to build or you want to buy. What I mean is, do you have the skill set internally that can help you build, an AI service within your organization, or are you choosing to buy something off the shelf? So these are some of the questions that only you will be able to answer. And at the end of the day, it depends on what skills that you have within. Before you place those, the gentleman.
Thank you. My name is Adeshino, and I'm the CEO of Treasure Joy Nigeria Limited, a printing and publishing firm. My question is about plagiarism in AI. I don't know if there are any issues about plagiarism in AI. And then, secondly, my question is about the cost implication for businesses, small businesses, using Microsoft 365. What is the cost implication? Is there any thing like free, that you can use, freely for people like us who run publishing firms, that it will not cost you so much money, especially for SMEs? So that's my question. Thank you.
So I'll quickly take that, and we'll take one more because I understand that the other session is about to start. So the two questions that you asked. First is issue of plagiarism, right? Of course, with every tool out there, there will always be associated risks. Whether it is the risk of plagiarism, whether it's safety, security, transparency, there will always be risk, generally associated. But what's you as for you to be talking about plagiarism, my understanding is, this is related to, publishing specifically or academic, matters. In education, obviously, educators are now looking for ways to be able to check, students' outputs against, whether it is connected to a specific AI output. So educators are finding continuous ways to do that. I'm not in that field. I cannot speak specifically on what they are doing, but I know that, AI, because AI really is taking inputs from existing sources to be able to bring your own outputs. So, quickly on the cost factor, definitely there are trial, in some cases free. And again, you need to go to that website that I spoke about. That is really the best place to start. You'll find tons of resources, some free, a lot free, some paid. But then there is always somewhere that you can start as a small business owner. So we'll just take one more. and we'll call it a day. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Olusegun Yetunji, and I lead a team at Giwa 360. And one of the things we've done over the years is interface and train SMEs about 40 to 50,000 within that period. And I observed something like the gentleman said about adoption, because of course Microsoft is strong with enterprise and all that. So I wanted to just ask your personal opinion on the ground here in Africa. Microsoft is a global, but what have you seen personally that has really, what use case have you seen with using Copilot that has really helped with on-the-ground local solutions here that you can share that has really moved the needle? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Yes. And maybe another thing you can touch on is, because we've been talking about digital transformation for some time, even before AI, technology adoption within our clients is different, except it's very commercial nature and enterprise like this that they don't have a choice to use. But how do we let it go beyond just that enterprise area only? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Good question. So quickly, in terms of adoption, local, examples of things that I've seen a lot. Like, as a matter of fact, you would. Yeah.
Can you provide probably a link so that they can ask the question? Other participants are waiting the speakers.
Okay. All right. No problem. So. Just in 60 seconds. So the first thing is there are several examples of use cases, in healthcare, in governance, in areas of tax profiling, in customer services, in banks, where they're able to interact with customers, do summarization of the charts, in doing things like fraud and risk management. There are several, kinds of examples. And, if you go to the Microsoft website, you will see, a lot of those examples. On the second one, which is around, you said small and medium businesses. Can you just quickly, no, it's the same thing. There is no separate answer for it. So it's the same thing. Once you go to the Microsoft website, you will see, how other people are using it, how you can use it, where to start from. I showed, a few examples of as an individual, these are small use cases. I don't even need enterprise adoption. Unfortunately, we really have to go now, but then this has been a very good use of my time. I hope that it was a good use of yours too, and it was really a pleasure being here. Thank you everyone, and thanks to the Bluechip team. Have a lovely rest of the day.